What is going on, guys? Saber Chief here, and happy Halloween to all of the witches, ghouls, goblins, vampires, Draculas, ghosts, and all other entities I didn't mention the above. Oh, speaking of ghosts, I got a scary story for you guys as entertainments. And this is a story about what I have experienced about 10 years ago, but for some reason it kind of feels like twice as long. Alright, so look, so this was the time when I was back in the day in campus. It was a time when we had a lot of group activities, assignments, homework, and presentations. And this was one of those times when I had to do all of the work when doing group activities, because I don't want to be mean, but let's be honest. So some of the guys I was put into groups with, they were not as helpful as I was hoping them to be. Okay, they are the kind of guys who would copy the whole damn thing on Wikipedia and just paste it, and not even 50% of the effort was given. So that is why I was like, you know what, screw it. I will do all of the work myself in exchange for probably 8 hours of no sleep at night. Okay, so I was cool with it, because that's a different story on why I decide to do all the group activities by myself and not count on anyone. That's a different story. I'll explain that on another day. But okay, so at night I was seated at my table, and I would do all the work. In the meantime, I would have to make sure that I wouldn't fall asleep, right? So when I take a 5-minute break, what I would do is I would watch what's that thing we used to have, wine videos. So a lot of you guys don't know what wine is. So it's like TikTok, but back in 2014. Okay, so they don't have any ridiculous challenges like what we have nowadays. They are really idiotic. What they do is 6-second comedy skits. That's all they do. So that's really entertaining. Definitely would make me laugh, and hopefully it wasn't too loud for my family to wake up. But at the same time, it would make me laugh quite well enough so that I wouldn't fall asleep. Now, there's some weird psychology thing that you watch something so funny, and then when you laugh, and then what are the sleepiness, the feeling of sleepy eyes, it's just gone. So with that, I was able to get back to work and keep working on the group assignments, right? Okay, so what happened was, after midnight, I was listening to music, some of those rock music that I just randomly found on YouTube. And when I was in the middle of doing my work, for some reason, out of the blue, I heard like this weird female voice outside the house, out by the window. I don't know, it sounded like I couldn't pick up the words on what was said, and I don't even know what language that was. All I heard was those weird noises, okay? And also, not to mention, I heard that noise when I was on my earphone, so I couldn't hear much. But that kind of spooked me. That caught me off guard. I knew damn sure that I was the only one who was awake in that time. There cannot be another person, right? But then I took my earphones off, and then suddenly it was all quiet. It was so quiet, as if it never happened. And then I just thought to myself, maybe I was tripping, maybe I was imagining something, and I didn't want to jump to conclusion and say something like, oh no, there's a ghost outside watching me, because it wasn't the first time, okay? I usually stay awake every night doing all these assignments and bunch of homeworks, and this never happened to me. So, but for some reason I had a feeling that I wasn't alone in the living room, and somebody or maybe something was watching me from outside the window. Okay. But then I also, at the same time, I did not want to jump to conclusion, and I got so much work to do in the homework. I had to get it done because the due date was like the following day. So I had to get it done fast. And not to mention, I was the only one doing all of the work, so I had to get it on. I had to get it on. Fast forward 1 hour later, about 1 o'clock in the morning. Okay, now before I continue this part of the story, I might need to give a little bit of a context, right? So it was that time when the house was in renovation. We were building the upstairs, and we set up the walls, but not the roof on the upstairs. And the living room has a big oval cut shape of a hole, right? And it was covered with some roof materials like the asbestos. It was all covered up. All right, now back to the story. So 1 hour later, at 1 o'clock in the morning, I was once again with my earphones listening to some random music, and maybe I was watching a wine video to take that 5 minutes break. I don't know why. Whoever was making those weird noises, for some reason, I heard the same voice again. It was the same noises, but only this time it was upstairs. Whoever that was, that once made that ridiculous noise outside the window, as now I heard it. This time I heard it right above my head. Once again, I could not pick up the words, but it was pretty much the same kind of sound. Okay, now this time I was wide awake. Okay, I took my earphones, and once again it was silent, and I was freaked out. Never thought that something like this would happen not once but twice in the same night. Now there's nothing else to do. Okay, I know this. I know it's not imagination. I was freaking out. But then also, I had to keep my cool. It was because I had watched enough horror movies to see where this was going next. So I didn't know if the entity could read my mind, but I was I was telling myself, whatever happens, probably the next thing that's gonna happen is the light's gonna go off. In every horror movie, that's what would happen. But thankfully, in my scenario, I had like a portable electric lamp right with me on the table. Okay, and we would call it let's call it the emergency night lamp. Okay, so I had the emergency night lamp with me, and I know for sure if somebody would tamp the lights, I got the emergency night lamp with me, and I will have nothing to worry about. So there's no way I was gonna get jump scared when I have light with me. So with that being said, I held that thing a little bit closer to me, like my life depended on it, because it kind of did. But thankfully, nothing happened from there on, and there's nothing else I could do. Just all I had to do was keep the doors and windows locked and stay in the house. That's all I had to do. Okay, I kept doing my work. I was able to finish it off, thankfully, before 3 o'clock in the morning, because usually 3 a.m. is a time when paranormal entities were at its strongest. I was able to finish off the work before 3 in the morning, and I got to bed. So in conclusion, basically the summary of the story is, if you were to explain it if I were to give a summary in one sentence, it could be something like, I got jump scared twice in one night. Something like that. So yep, that's it for my Halloween special story. And if you guys would like to hear more of this, and if you guys enjoy my content, make sure to give it a big old thumbs up and subscribe. Also share with your family and friends so that I get more exposure, so I can be able to entertain more of you guys. And yeah, I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye.